The Maricopa County audit is in full swing, despite the media's attempts to convince you that it's not, or that it's illegitimate, or that it's completely purposeless, or whatever. It actually is still going on, and it still does have its purposes for the people doing the audit. Now, what the media would have you believe is that everybody involved in the audit is doing this for the purpose of delegitimizing the election. But I don't think that's actually the case. There's a lot more to it than that. But when you take a look at the competing media narratives versus what's actually happening in reality, we start to get a little bit of a different picture on what's being said versus what's going on. Let's take a look at these two things and talk about everything they don't want to talk about in regards to the Arizona audit. I am Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you're watching, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss any videos. Okay, here we go. So this is from AZ Central, and they are reporting on a rather innocuous story, but the way that they're reporting this and other outlets are reporting this is that this is like a big deal and showing some sort of lack of faith in the audit. It's that the tech company running Arizona ballot audit or Arizona ballot recount backs out. Quote, "They were done." Sounds very, very nefarious. They backed out? What happened? Are they abandoning the audit? Well, let's take a look. The Pennsylvania-based IT company that was in charge of running the hand recount in Maricopa County ballots is no longer involved in the audit. Contract with Wake Technology Services Incorporated ended May 14th. So if you'll note, that was 12 days ago as of the recording of this video. And this story came out just yesterday. So they've been gone for a while. It hasn't shut down the audit, which has still persisted, but, you know, clicks, right? The original completion date for the hand count, and the company chose not to renew its contract, according to Randy Pullen, an audit spokesperson and former state GOP chair. They were done. He said they didn't want to come back. Those are innocuous and neutral statements, unless you read them as, well, they were done. They did not want to come back, right? Like, you can read inflection into them, but you can't actually get that inflection from text. All we know is they said they were done, they didn't want to come back, and that is possibly because they had a deadline of May 14th. They exceeded, they went past that deadline. They said, yeah, but we're done. We're done with our part. They developed the process for the count. They were conducting the account. So what happens now? Is it in turmoil? Is the audit over? Well, no. Wake TSI was a subcontractor that developed and oversaw the procedures for recounting the system's nearly 2.1 million ballots. Working under Cyber Ninjas, the state Senate's main contractor performing the overall audit of the county's general election results. So I love how they word this like the company that was in charge of it has backed out, but they were working as a subcontractor under the company that was actually in charge of it, who's still there. The audit was on break from May 14th until Monday as high school graduations took place in the Coliseum. Pullen said that Scottsdale-based technology company Strat Solutions took over Monday, running the hand recount using Wake's procedures. So the one company's contract was up. They decided not to renew. A second company has come in using the same procedures. Again, these were subcontractors doing the work. Cyber Ninjas are the contractors overseeing the work. Not much is happening here. They swap out some personnel. This isn't a major story, but the news media wants you to think that this somehow undermines the legitimacy of the count. And this is all based on a false narrative being pushed by the mainstream media, that the count is designed to delegitimize the election. But that's not what the count's purpose is. It's not what the stated purpose is. That's not what the Arizona GOP has the purpose for. And that's not what most people watching this thing are thinking is going to happen. Many of them have already decided that the election is not legitimate for their own personal reasons. That's up to individuals to decide. I'm not making any commentary on the legitimacy of the election in this video. That's not the purpose of it. But people have made up their minds about that. They don't need an audit to help them determine their feelings on the election. At this point, this audit serves to find leaks in the system, to find inaccuracies or inadequate procedures where they can get as much information as possible. And it's run by, or it's ordered by the GOP legislature in Arizona. And that GOP legislature is in charge of writing the voting laws in Arizona. And as Karen Fan recently said to CNN, I can't confidently say everything that happened in the election. So we're doing the audit to try and get as much information as possible to ensure the integrity of the election process. That's what most people are looking for out of this audit. They are looking for the actual legitimacy of the process. Is it there? If it's not there, how do they fix it for the next cycle? Most people are not expecting this to change the election outcome. And even if they did somehow flip Arizona, like if that happened, it still would not have been enough electoral votes under Arizona alone. You would need other states to change their outcomes as well. And that would be a big mess. We don't really have precedent for what would happen if that occurred. But without specific constitutional authority, I still don't think that you're going to replace Joe Biden with Donald Trump. I don't think there's a procedure for doing that. It would take probably a constitutional convention or a constitutional amendment. And I don't think that's likely with the current makeup of the House and Senate. So that being said, though, how is this actually impacting things when you don't sit in the media bubble? What are other states doing in response to this? And that was what I find interesting. For all of the disasters that Arizona is, and if you type in Maricopa audit into Google or whatever, you'll get a ton of stories about how you don't do an audit. It's terrible, it's inaccurate, it's awful. And there's a concerted media narrative. That media narrative has been going throughout the entire election. We know it was coordinated. It was talked about in a Time magazine article. I've reported on that article. Everybody should read it. You can find a link to it up in the corner of my video here, the link to the video that I did on it, which also has links to the article. But everybody should read that because it was exactly how they've done the marketing aspect of the 2020 election. And that marketing is still going on today in regards to these audits. There's a concerted media narrative from most of the big players. But again, how are the people and the states reacting? Because that's the true barometer. Here we have from the New York Post just yesterday. It's not just Arizona. The push to review 2020 ballots spreads. So we see these states looking at this going, wait a minute, they are actually auditing their stuff. Maybe we do have issues. Maybe we do need to find leaks in our systems as well. Maybe we need to shore this up. We want to ensure voter integrity. We want to ensure faith in the system because the democracy is the fiat currency of political organization. It relies on faith in the democracy to actually function. If you don't believe you have a functional democracy, but a democracy in name only, something like you would have in China or Venezuela or Iraq under Saddam Hussein, if you have a fictional democracy, then you don't actually have a democratic process. You have tyranny masquerading as the people's choice, and people won't participate because they'll get shot. So a lot of these states are looking at this going, we want our citizenry to have faith in our voting processes. We want our lawmakers and our candidates to have faith in the procedures that get them into office. And so they are looking at doing audits as well. Of course, we know about the one in Georgia that's going on. There's one proposed up in Michigan. There's been some activity in Antrim County and in another county up in Michigan. There's one going on in New Hampshire right now. We've got this spreading out to other states as they look for ways to ensure that the next election is not a disastrous sort of circus that the 2020 election was. And to me, that's the success of the Maricopa audit, is that despite a specific media push to convince everybody of the opposite, other states are looking at this and going, yeah, maybe we should do that too. But I don't know. Why don't you guys tell me what you think about the audits? Should they be done in every state? Should they only be done in swing states? Are they legitimate? Are they illegitimate? Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Until next time, guys, peace. Peace.